thought we'd have a look at these today. So this is a pendant. You can obviously use them as earrings. I've chosen to put mine on a piece of sari silk ribbon. Gorgeous, aren't they? And I've also made a couple of these lovely bookmarks as well, because I have book lovers in my family. So I'm going to be making this, and I'm also going to be showing you how to make the bookmark version as well. Okay, so I'll just clear these away and then we'll do a list of materials. All right, so I'll see you in a sec. So these are the really pretty hearts. Literally don't take very much. All you need to do is sort of grab your stash of red beads, I think. And if you have any sari ribbon, you can mix your metals even and put that on a silver or a gold chain or whatever. I like to mix metals. So I'll just leave those there and we'll have a look at what we need. As always, I will put all the materials in the description box below. I use millimeters and centimeters. We've been a European, so I'll try and get the American standard, the American gauge and the standard gauge down in the description box for you. So I'm using 1.5 millimeter. That's soft copper wire I'm using. What else am I using? I'm using 0.4, which I believe is 26 gauge. You're also going to need a little, whoops, I hate these spools because it always comes off the spool, doesn't it? You're also going to need a little bit of 0.8, that's 20 gauge. I'll just pop that up there. And you're going to need some red beads, like just, you know, see what you've got in your stash. I was lucky enough to pick up some of these gorgeous Austrian crystals a while ago, because I don't think they make them anymore, certainly not for the secondary market anyway. So, and what else will you need? I'm using here 8O seed beads. All right, so I've got a Preciosa red seed bead mix here. Yeah, so just some nice seed beads just for this bit here. And what else are you going to need? Obviously a ruler, just so I can give you some measurements, and I'll try and remember to do it in inches as well as centimeters. Okay, so you're just going to need some cutters and some round nose or a 6-step bail making plier, and you're just going to need some chain nose pliers. Apart from that, if you're going to be making the bookmark, you'll need a hammer and a block, obviously, because we want to make this stable but not brittle. So we'll be doing a little bit of hammering. And I think that is about it. So let me clear all of this melee away, all of it away, and we'll get going. So I'll see you in a sec. Isn't this pretty? Okay, so let's have a look at how to make this. Obviously, this is for your bookmark. You know, that's the side of the book. It sits inside the book where you place, you know, where you want to hold your place. And that sits against the spine of the book, which I think is a beautiful gift for, you know, a mum or a sister or a friend or whatever, telling you that you love them. And if they're an avid book reader, then that's a perfect gift. These ones obviously are, you know, gorgeous for pendants. And again, like I say, you know, heart motifs have been done and done and done and done. Nothing new, but this is just my little take on it. So hope you enjoy. So let's just pop these out of the way for now, then they're not in the way. Right, so let us get going. So you're going to need to take your 1.5 millimeter. I think, if I remember off the top of my head, I should really write it on here, shouldn't I? I think that might be 14 gauge, not sure. I will double check and write everything in the description box. So I'm just going to flush cut my end there. You're going to need approximately 13 centimeters, yeah, or around about 5 and a bit inches, give or take. So just over 5 inches, like this. Now I'm going to be using my 6-step bail making plier just because I'm used to using it. And basically all I'm going to do is find the center. Let's do it scientifically, Sammy. Okay, so that would be 6.5 is the center. I'm good, I can do mathematics. Find the center, and we're just going to bend it round like so and just cross over the top like this and make like a teardrop shape. Now when I was looking at making these, I found that if your V is quite a narrow V, you'll have an elongated heart. But if you have a wider V, then your heart will be a little fatter, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we'll go for about here. My suggestion is that if you are making earrings, do this stage at the same time, and then you know that they're exactly the same, or pretty much exactly the same. Okay. So if we have a look at the blueprint of this one. All right, so we're going to make this arc here. So just take your pliers on the right hand side. This wire comes over and we're going to be bending it inwards. So you need to do that nice and gently. The wire that I'm using here is actually soft, so it looks really quite soft. And with a bend of your wrist, just bend that round like that. I mean, if you've got harder wire, or you know, sort of half hard or anything, this bending stage is a little harder. So if you can get hold of soft, it's much easier. Plus you can give it a little bit of a hammer. Yeah, it's easier to hammer some hardness into soft wire than it is to take hardness out, isn't it? So all right, so that's our first. Yeah, so if I was making earrings, obviously I would make those, you know, the same. So let's have a look at the other part of it, like there. Oops, out of the way, Sammy. So we're going to be taking, that's that bit there. Yeah, so we're going to take the other side and curl that inwards, but a little lower or higher, depending. So let's have a look. So bend that round. And it wants to be a little higher than the other side, like this. And then you just sort of faff around with it a little bit. I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off, just because I wasn't happy with it. Just bend that inwards like this. So if you know you're happy with the shape, let's have a look. If you're happy with the shape, you know, just faff around with it and, you know, see which kind of shape you like. I quite like that. Pull that in a little bit. So it's just all a matter of just, you know, messing about with it and seeing what shapes you like. Use your fingers as tools. They're also great tools. So I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, that looks all right. So we're going to be winding and wrapping beads along this long side here and just over the top, like we've got here. Well, actually that's a mirror image one, but you know, you get the picture. So I'm going to hammer this very gently. Actually, I'm just going to pull that in just a little and then just pull that in just a little. This stage is all about, you know, messing about with it and seeing what you like. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay, so there's our heart motif. Really easy to do. Super easy, I think. Okay, right, so I'm going to bring my, what's it called? Hammer block thing. Where are you, hammer block? Oh, there you are. Whoops. So, I won't do this all on camera because it's a little bit noisy, but I'm just going to take my simple chasing hammer and very lightly tap the bottom, and then ignoring the crossover here because it can make it quite squashy and brittle, and you don't want that to happen. So just ignore the cross. And just give it a bit of a hammer. Okay, so not only does that give it a little bit of texture, it also gives it some stability. You know, it's called work hardening. I'm sure you already know what that is. So here we go. Here's our little heart motif. Okay, so let's get our little beads out here. Let me just get rid of that. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, it's not too bad. So let's get our ATO seed beads out. I've got a little Preciosa mix here. I like Preciosa seed beads. I think they're really, really pretty. And the mixes that you can buy are, you know, they're ready mixed, aren't they? So, you know. Yeah, okay. So let's get some 0.4. I'm going to suggest about, let's have a think, 35, 40 centimetres, just to give yourself plenty. Again, you can reuse wire should you choose. About 16 inches, 14 to 16 inches, something like that. And you want to wind this around the bottom of your heart. I mean, you can decorate these how you like, to be fair, I suppose, can't you? Doesn't, you know, it's not prescriptive, is it? There we are. Not prescriptive at all, so keep that little end out of the way. So I've just wrapped it around there 3 times. I'm going to say 3 times. I'll just pop that out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so put your first bead on like this. And it depends on how you want this to look. You know, if you want the beads on the outside, then you can wrap it like this. Okay, so I've just done 1 bead and then 1 wrap, yeah, so that the wire is coming inside the heart. So take another one. I'm sure you know what I mean. I don't think I'm explaining myself very well today. So put the bead on like this against your finger, wrap your wire inside, and then back around for the next one, and just squash things up a little bit. I like the beads to show the holes. You know, some people, you know, you can use round beads as well, I suppose, here, and that would, you know, you wouldn't have the center of the bead showing. I quite like that negative space showing in jewelry design. But, you know, like I say, all of this is just ideas. Just keep popping your beads on. Pop it against the finger, through the heart, and round for one more wrap. So there's essentially 2 wraps, a bead on, 1 wrap, bead on, 1 wrap, bead on, 1 wrap, excuse me, another bead on. So you just keep going and putting your beads on as you go. So make sure everything's nice and secure, and then just keep pushing things down with your nail or with your pliers, whatever you choose to use. It's up to you. I don't mind using my nails because I have pretty you know, ugly hand. Well, I'm saying ugly. People tell me off for saying ugly hands, but my hands really I'm not that bothered by. So it doesn't matter to me if I use my nails or not. Okay, so then we've got 5 on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just keep going. Whatever beads you fancy. So, meantime, let me know what you've been up to. I always use this section here in videos where I like you guys to let me know what you've been making. It's nice to hear what you make, yeah. And if you want to show off what you've been making, come and join our wonderful Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group, so it's a safe space, and we have lots of lovely people in there who just like to show off all sorts of things. What they've been making doesn't have to be something that I've shown. It can be anything at all. So we'll just keep going here. Let's get one of these. So just keep going. In fact, I'll keep going and I'll meet you back when we get to the top, just so that this bit doesn't get too boring. But you understand, you know, what we're doing, don't you? Going round here until we get to the top. All right, so I'll see you in a few. Right, we're back, my friends, and as you can see, we have gone around the arc of that top bit of the heart. I'm just going to put the very last bead on. Now don't forget, you can make these in any size you like, so if you want a really large pendant or you know, that kind of thing, go for it. Just you know, make it as big as you like. I think this would look really, really beautiful, perhaps hung in a window even, you know, that kind of thing, like a, I don't know, like, what do they call it? What's it called? A sun catcher, that's the word. Oh, come on, Sammy. So what I'm going to do here, that's the last bead on, I am just going to pop that through and wind it around the section here in the middle, and just do a couple of wraps in there, because it helps to keep it nice and stable. Yeah, so we're just going to wrap that round couple of times. Hope my big fat fingers don't get in the way. You might be all right with about 30 centimeters of wire, actually 30 to 35, something like that. I'm just going to give it another wrap. Okay, so that just literally keeps everything nice and safe and sound. There we are. So all you need to do now, obviously, is to just snip your little pieces of wire. I think I need some new snippers. These are getting a little blunt now. And then just snip that down there. And then come in with your trusty chain nose pliers and just give that a gentle squish. And then down here, a gentle squish. And that is our lovely heart wire wrapped heart motif made. Isn't that beautiful? Really, really pretty. So I'm just going to pop these beads away, so they're not getting in the way. I'll just leave a couple out, actually, because we need a couple for the dangle. So let's do the dangle next, shall we? So, you know, I've got a variety of red beads here. These are like little rice beads, and got some pretty beads in here. But I think I will get a little red. Should we get a little sparkly? We got any? There we go. A sparkly red crystal. Let's get one of those out. If you're like me, you've got quite a collection of sparkly beads. I love sparkle. So I'll just pop those to one side. And this is where our 0.8 wire comes in. So you only need a little bit. Just going to chop a bit off. You only need about so much, don't you? You've made these before, haven't you? Little dangles. So I'm just going to pull that out a little bit. There we are. So all I'm going to, I mean, you know what? If you like to torch your wire and make little sort of ball pins and things like that, you can do that. I quite like just to put a little loop on the end and just bend that like so. So let's have a look and get a couple of these very pretty beads. Shall we do that? Yeah, let's do that. Like I say, you can just do this however you like, can't you? It's not prescriptive in the slightest, but I just quite like the idea of copper and red. I think copper and red looks really, really pretty. Okay, so let's just do a very simple wire wrap loop. Oh gosh, I used way too much wire there, but hey ho. Just snip a bit off. So let's just make a very simple wire wrap loop like this. There we go. Nice and peaceful making. And it's nice to make something for someone, you know, that is kind of Valentine's related, but not, if you will, you know. I mean, a nice bookmark with a heart on, if you like the heart motif, is a really nice present to give anybody at any time of year, I think. Do you think? I read quite a lot, so, you know, I've been making these for myself. And my mum reads a lot as well, so I should be making her one also. So just snip that there. Yeah, I definitely need some new definitely need some new pliers. And then without cracking your bead, if you can help it. Yeah, there we go. So there is our motif, our little heart pendant style thing. Okay, now then, so you're going to want a decent size jump rings on here. Now I've used 7mm jump rings for this one because I've put popped a piece of sari ribbon through. You can use chiffon, make it like a choker, you know, like a Victorian style, really like a choker. You can put your own chain on there, whatever you want to do. So let me just grab, where am I? Ready-made. Here we go. And if you want to learn how to make jump rings easily, I'll put a link in the description box of a video that I did a while ago where you can make easy jump rings without all the expensive equipment. Unless you want to buy the expensive equipment, that's entirely up to you. I can't afford it, so for me it's just, you know, simple. So open up your little jump rings, pop them on, and I've found that the jump rings will sit in the little sort of divots created by your wire wrapping. Yeah, I've not had any problems with them moving about, and you know what, if they do, doesn't matter. So a couple of jump rings in there, like so, and then all you do is take your, let's find it, is just take your ribbon. If you're using sari ribbon, of course, you can use just regular ribbon, all sorts of stuff. Let me just grab the end of that and feed it through there. You know, so you can use anything you like. So there is your, oops, get rid of all of that lovely silk. I'll use that for something else, no doubt. So there is your beautiful pendant. Isn't that pretty? Gorgeous, gorgeous. However, let's take that out of there. Yeah, however, I'm just going to remove these jump rings because we are going to now look at how to make the bookmark. So I'll just remove these two little jump rings because we want something that is a little smaller jump ring wise. Let me just move that out of the way. Lovely. All right, so let's see how to make that into a beautiful bookmark like this. Okay, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, so if you want to adapt this and make it into a lovely bookmark, it's a beautiful, beautiful way of keeping your place in your book, I think. Absolutely gorgeous. And because we hammer this a little bit, you know, it's not too bendy or anything like that. It's just perfect. So I'll show you a little clip now of what it looks like in the book. Really, really pretty. And as you can see, it hangs just at the back of, you know, on the spine of the book, and it's really pretty, I think. So let's have a look on how to make this part here. So you're going to need your ruler, obviously, and again with the 1.5mm. Oh, so let's just flush cut the end, like we always do, just because it's you know, it helps keep things nice and neat. And you're going to want to measure out 25 centimetres, which is just under 10 inches of wire. Give or take, I mean, you know, again, only an idea for you. There we have it. So what I'm going to do is, there we are. I want to make this part first, yeah? So just take your plier. I just want to be making a spiral again. If you've been watching my channel for long enough, you know I really like a spiral. I think they're super motifs, and they have all sorts of, you know, all sorts of meanings for all sorts of people. So spiral it round. So this is where you just sort of use your fingers, use your tools, and make a beautiful spiral. And don't worry if it goes a little awry, it doesn't matter. Really no big deal. The thing I like about making things with your hands is You know, if it goes a little bit awry, it doesn't matter. Genuinely, it really doesn't. This is all about the process, and it's all about having fun and making something literally that you've made yourself, which I think is really, really nice. There we go. So we've got our spiral. Just use your fingers. And then we want to just line our spiral up here. And then with your flat plier, the flat plates of your plier, just bend upwards. Just to make that nice and straight. Yeah? Like so. There, that's what we've got. So the next thing we need to do is to make the hook part. Now, I wouldn't suggest you make this hook part too thin. For a mandrel, I would probably, I mean, I've been using where is it? Where is it? Oh gosh, where are you? No, can't find it. I have been using my lip balm actually, which, there you are. I've been using my lip balm, which is a really good lip balm actually, to just, you know, make the shapes, which I think is really good. I mean, you could use anything cylindrical, yeah. So basically, you know, I don't know how far down is that. Let's just measure it for you. For those of you who like measurements, about 5 centimeters down, something like that. You don't want this to be too short because obviously it's got to fit inside your book. About this far down, just bend like that so that you have this kind of affair here, yeah? And then this, we want to make a loop to attach our dangle to. So just bring that round and just make a loop. And there we have that, like so. Now then, this is where we come in with our block again. So I think maybe I'll do that off camera because you don't need to see me hammering it. It's not very, you know, it's a bit discordant. So I'll come back when I've hammered it, okay? And here is my lovely hammered little bookmark here. I've taken a file and just filed this centre bit down, obviously, just make sure it's not all sticking up. And I've also used a domed hammer just to give it a little bit of texture. I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, if I move it around like that, it's giving it a little bit of a texture. So that lays nice and flat, like so. Right, so let's have a look. You're going to need to take a couple of smaller jump rings. I think these are, let me have a look, 2, 3, these are 5mm jump rings. So I'm just going to cut these guys off like this. 1 and then 2. Like I say, I will link my jump ring video in the description box for you, or I'll put it up here somewhere just so you can have a look at how I make mine. Really, really simple. So what you want to do now is take your beautiful heart. Where have I put it? There it is, Sammy. You want to take your beautiful heart, pop the first jump ring. Oops, it's always the way when you're on camera. Everything decides it doesn't like you. So just pop that on there and close that up. Where are you? There you are. Close that up like this, and then take your other jump ring, do the same thing, open it out, pop it through, move your jump ring further up, there you go, and then attach it to your loop up here like this. And there we have an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous bookmark. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look, a couple of bookmarks there. Beautiful, beautiful. I really like these and I think they're extremely pretty. Extremely pretty, and they make fabulous gifts for, you know, friends or family who really, really like to read. I mean, how pretty are those? Hope you enjoy making all of these beautiful hearts. Make lots of them. lots and lots of different shapes and sizes. Doesn't even have to be this shape, just, you know, have fun and make some hearts. And I'll see you in my next video, which probably won't be heart related. I'll see you soon. Enjoy Valentine's Day, my friends.